What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted, the money, the health, the relationships, already exists right now, and the only reason you can't see it is because you're looking in the wrong place? I know that sounds almost too radical to believe, but hear me out. Most of us wake up every single day, check our bank accounts, look in the mirror, scroll through social media watching other people live the lives we want, and we make a devastating assumption. If something isn't physically in front of us, it doesn't exist. We see the empty space where our dreams should be, and we call that reality. But what if that empty space isn't actually empty at all? What if you've been trained your entire life to only perceive one narrow slice of what's truly available to you? Think about this for a moment. Has this ever happened to you? You desperately want something. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's perfect health. Maybe it's finding your soulmate. And every single piece of advice tells you the same thing. Focus on what you want, not what you don't have. Visualize your success. Think positive. Manifest your desires. And you try, you really do. But then you open your eyes and you're still broke, still sick, still alone. So you think, how am I supposed to focus on abundance when my rent is overdue? How can I visualize perfect health when my body is screaming in pain? How do I manifest love when I'm eating dinner alone for the 100th night in a row? But before we begin unraveling this mystery, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Even Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist and explorer of the unconscious mind, understood something profound about human perception. We don't see reality as it is, we see reality as we are. When Jung himself faced financial ruin, with foreclosures looming and creditors knocking at his door, he confronted this exact paradox. How could he possibly shift his focus to prosperity when poverty was staring him in the face every single day? The answer lies in understanding something that 99% of people never grasp. There's a fundamental difference between something being absent and something being invisible. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you approach every goal, every dream, every desire you've ever had. You see, when you look at your life right now and see what's missing, you're not actually seeing absence. You're seeing a limitation of your perception. And that distinction changes everything. The things you want aren't hiding from you. They're not playing hard to get. They're not reserved for other people who are luckier or more deserving than you. They exist right now in this very moment, but in a form that your five senses haven't been trained to detect. And once you understand how to shift your perception from the visible to the invisible, from the material to the potential, you'll unlock a power that most people never even know exists because they're trapped in what mystic Neville Goddard called the third-dimensional reality. Now, before your eyes glaze over thinking this is going to get too esoteric or complicated, let me break this down in the simplest way possible, because this understanding is the hidden truth behind every major transformation you've ever witnessed in yourself or others. The third-dimensional reality is everything you experience through your five senses right now. It's the weight of your body when you step on the scale. It's the number in your bank account when you check your phone. It's the empty side of the bed when you wake up alone. It's tangible. It's measurable. It's undeniable. This is what most people exclusively call reality. And they spend their entire lives reacting to it, trying to change it, fighting against it. But here's where the journey gets truly fascinating. This physical reality you're experiencing is only half the story. Running parallel to this material world is what Goddard called the fourth-dimensional reality. And this is where everything changes. This fourth dimension isn't some mystical fantasy land or wishful thinking. It's an energetic realm of pure potential, a field where every possibility that has ever existed or will ever exist is already present. Think of it like this. Right now, as you're watching this video, there are radio waves, Wi-Fi signals, and countless electromagnetic frequencies passing through your body that you cannot see, hear, or touch. They're invisible to your senses, but they're absolutely real. You know they exist because when you turn on your phone or radio, suddenly that invisible signal becomes sound, becomes image, becomes information you can interact with. If this resonated with you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I create content that explores how consciousness and reality actually work, the kind of insights that change how you see everything. The fourth dimension works exactly the same way. Your future wealth, your perfect health, your ideal relationship, they're not somewhere out there in some distant timeline waiting for you to arrive. They exist right here, right now in this energetic field of consciousness. The version of you with financial freedom is already real. The version of you in perfect health is already real. The version of you living your dream life is already real. But they exist in potential form, in waveform, waiting for the right conditions to collapse into your physical experience. This is where decisions become everything, because the question isn't whether these realities exist. The question is, which one are you feeding your attention to? Are you constantly observing and reinforcing your current third-dimensional circumstances, or are you learning to tune in to the fourth-dimensional potential that's been there all along? Now, I want to go even deeper into this because understanding the mechanics of how these two realities interact is what separates people who casually dream from people who actively create. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to see what's invisible," because what comes next will show you exactly how to bridge that gap between potential and physical manifestation. Here's where things get really mind-bending, and this is where modern science actually validates what mystics have been saying for thousands of years. When physicists started looking deeper and deeper into the nature of physical matter, the stuff that makes up your body, this device you're watching on, the chair you're sitting in, they discovered something absolutely revolutionary. Everything you think of as solid, as real, as undeniably physical, is actually made up of atoms. And when you look at an atom, you find a nucleus in the center with electrons orbiting around it. But here's the shocking part. The space between the nucleus and those electrons is vast. In fact, if you scaled an atom up so the nucleus was the size of a basketball sitting in the middle of a football field, the electron would be like a tennis ball orbiting somewhere out in the parking lot. What this means is staggering. Everything you experience as solid and real is actually 99.999% empty space. You are mostly space. Your problems are mostly space. Your bank account, your body, your entire life circumstance is mostly invisible energy vibrating at different frequencies to create the illusion of solidity. Einstein himself said it perfectly. Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And when scientists went even deeper, examining the subatomic particles themselves, they found something even stranger. Matter doesn't even stay as matter. At the quantum level, particles flicker in and out of existence, sometimes appearing as solid particles, sometimes as energetic waves. Physicists actually call this phenomenon quantum weirdness because it defies everything our senses tell us about how reality works. But here's where this revelation becomes practical and life-changing. If the physical world is mostly empty space and energy, then what you're really interacting with every day isn't some fixed, unchangeable reality. It's a field of possibilities that your consciousness is collapsing into specific experiences based on where you place your attention. This brings us back to Goddard's framework with a whole new level of understanding. Your third-dimensional reality operates in time, past, present, and future. You think your desired future is somewhere ahead of you, something you need to travel toward, something you need to earn or achieve. But the fourth dimensional reality has no time. All potentials exist simultaneously in this eternal now. The $1 million you want isn't in your future. It exists right now as pure potential in this energetic field. Your healed body isn't something you need to create from scratch. It exists right now as a blueprint of wellness waiting to materialize. Your ideal relationship isn't out there searching for you. It exists right now in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. The real transformation happens when you stop treating your desires as distant goals and start recognizing them as present realities that simply haven't materialized in your sensory experience yet. This shift in perspective, this decision to acknowledge what exists beyond your five senses, is the turning point in every person's journey from hoping to creating. Put in the comments, I see beyond the visible, because what I'm about to share next is the exact process of how to pull these invisible realities into your tangible experience. And it's simpler than you might think. The simplicity is this: when you look at your life and see what's missing, you need to understand that you're not looking at true absence. You're looking at the absence of material expression, not the absence of existence itself. That distinction is everything. Your dream home already exists in energetic form. Your healed body already exists as a blueprint of perfect health. Your ideal relationship already exists as a pattern of connection. The moment you truly grasp this, the entire game changes. You're no longer begging the universe for something that doesn't exist yet. You're not desperately trying to create something from nothing. Instead, you're simply learning to tune your perception to a frequency that's already broadcasting. This shift creates something powerful inside you, genuine anticipation instead of desperate longing. There's a massive difference between these two states. Desperation says, I don't have it and I need it. Anticipation says, it already exists, and I'm simply waiting for it to appear in my experience. One energy repels, the other attracts. One feels like lack, the other feels like certainty. And your nervous system, your energy field, your entire being responds completely differently to these two perspectives. Let me give you a real example of how this works in practice. And this is where theory becomes proof. Carl Jung himself, the man who explored the deepest territories of the human psyche, spent 7 years battling mercury poisoning and chronic health conditions. 7 years of doctors, treatments, protocols, and nothing seemed to work. And then he had a revelation that changed everything. He realized that even trying to solve his health problems meant he was still focusing all his attention on being sick. Every doctor visit, every symptom check, every desperate search for a cure was reinforcing the third-dimensional reality of illness. So Jung made a radical decision. He started affirming something that felt completely contradictory to his physical experience. I'm healthy right here, right now. Not, I will be healthy someday. Not, I hope to be healthy. But I am healthy now. He wasn't denying his symptoms or pretending they didn't exist in the third dimension. He was acknowledging that in the fourth dimension, in that field of infinite potential, a version of him in perfect health existed right now. His mantra became simple but profound. I know I am healthy. I don't know how it will manifest. I don't know when it will appear in my physical experience, but I know with absolute certainty that I am healthy right now. This wasn't positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This was a deliberate shift of attention from the problem to the potential, from the visible to the invisible, from what his senses were telling him to what his deeper knowing was revealing. And something extraordinary happened. By withdrawing his obsessive focus from the illness and placing it on the energetic reality of wellness, doors began opening. Insights emerged. Solutions appeared that had been invisible before. Through an innovative approach he discovered by following this new inner guidance, Jung achieved 95% recovery from conditions that had plagued him for 7 years. Type in the comments, "I choose the invisible reality," because understanding how attention works is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. And there's a specific mechanism behind why this works every single time. The mechanism behind this transformation is what I call reality hacking, and it's based on a simple but profound recognition. Two valid realities are occurring simultaneously right now. Just because one is immaterial, existing in pure energetic form, doesn't make it any less real than the physical world you're touching and seeing. When Jung shifted his focus from sensory absence to energetic existence, he wasn't engaging in some mental gymnastics or self-deception. He was literally redirecting the creative power of his consciousness from one valid reality to another. And that shift accelerated the materialization process in ways that seemed almost miraculous from the outside, but were actually following a precise spiritual law. Here's where the identity shift becomes absolutely crucial, and this is where most people get stuck without even realizing it. They keep trying to manifest by solving problems. They keep trying to create wealth by fixing their money issues. They keep trying to attract love by healing their loneliness. They keep trying to build success by overcoming their failures. But every time you focus on solving a problem, you're reinforcing the reality of the problem itself. You're feeding energy into the third-dimensional circumstance you're trying to escape. The breakthrough happens when you stop manifesting from a place of lack and start perceiving from the perspective of someone who already knows their desired outcome is real. Not hopes it's real, not wishes it's real, knows it's real. This isn't just about health or one area of life. This principle works identically for wealth, for relationships, for your mission and purpose, for anything you desire. Whatever you consistently give your attention to in the fourth-dimensional field of potential must eventually materialize in your third-dimensional experience. It's not magic. It's mechanics. It's how consciousness interacts with the quantum field to collapse infinite possibilities into specific experiences. But here's where people get confused and frustrated. They hear about this fourth-dimensional reality, they understand the concept intellectually, and then they wonder why they keep experiencing the same circumstances day after day, month after month, year after year. Why does life feel like Groundhog Day, where you keep waking up to the same problems, the same struggles, the same limitations? And the answer is brutally simple but liberating once you see it. You keep paying attention to your third-dimensional reality, so that's exactly what you keep activating over and over from the fourth-dimensional space of possibilities. You wake up, check your bank account, see the same low number, and you just reinforced financial limitation for another day. You look in the mirror, see the same body, and you just locked in that physical reality for another cycle. You scroll through social media, see happy couples, feel the sting of loneliness, and you just programmed another day of being alone. You literally cannot create something different in your life if you're constantly observing and reacting to the life you currently have. The proper understanding of how reality works gives you permission to do something that might feel counterintuitive at first, to withdraw your senses from the third-dimensional what is and deliberately direct your attention toward the fourth-dimensional what could be. Put in the comments, "I'm breaking the cycle," because what I'm about to reveal is the exact daily practice that makes this shift automatic. And once you install this into your routine, manifestation stops being something you try to do and becomes something that simply happens through you. If you've made it this far, I want you to know that you're not here by accident. The fact that you stayed through this entire exploration of reality, consciousness, and the invisible forces shaping your life tells me something important about you. You're ready for a different kind of understanding. You're not satisfied with surface-level answers or quick fixes. You're willing to look deeper, to question what you've been taught, to consider that maybe, just maybe, there's a whole dimension of reality you've been missing. So here's what I'd love from you. If this conversation resonated with something inside you, if you felt that shift happening as we talked, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I create content like this every week, not the usual self-help recycled stuff, but real explorations into how consciousness, energy, and reality actually work. The kind of insights that change how you see everything, not just how you feel for an afternoon. And leave a comment saying, "This message was meant for me, so I know you made it all the way through." I read every single comment, and there's something powerful about declaring your commitment to this new way of seeing. It's your first act of choosing the invisible reality over the visible one. Oh, and if you found value in what we covered today, just tap that like button. It helps more people discover these conversations, and honestly, it lets me know this kind of content matters to you. Now, there's a video right here that takes this concept even further. It's about the specific daily practices that make this fourth-dimensional awareness automatic in your life. Click it and continue with me over there, because understanding the theory is one thing, but actually living it is where everything transforms. I'll see you in that next video, and remember, the reality you want already exists. You're just learning to perceive it.